I can still picture the exact second everything shattered. There we were at the Pinnacle, one of Seattle's most exclusive rooftop restaurants overlooking the rain-slicked downtown skyline and distant Mount Rainier. Crystal glasses clinked softly. The scent of seared scallops and aged wine filled the air. And for a fleeting moment on my 28th birthday, I actually believed life was finally settling into something good. My mother, Elena, wore her signature emerald earrings that caught the candlelight. Victor, my stepfather, had bothered to wear a tailored navy blazer instead of his usual weekend polo. Even my grandfather, Theodore Bennett, the telecommunications legend whose fiber-optic networks powered half the Pacific Northwest, had cleared his schedule to join us. Then grandfather leaned forward, his silver hair gleaming under the soft pendant lights, and said in that measured baritone of his, "Sophia, darling, I've been thinking about the 25th birthday gift I arranged for you all those years ago. How are you settling into the penthouse at Eclipse Tower? The views from the 62nd floor must be spectacular this time of year." My fork froze halfway to my mouth. The scallops suddenly tasted like ash. Penthouse? What penthouse? The table went deathly quiet. Rain pattered against the floor-to-ceiling windows as if the city itself was holding its breath. Mother's perfectly manicured fingers tightened around her wine stem until her knuckles whitened. Victor shifted in his chair, that practiced politician's smile flickering for just a heartbeat before locking back into place. Grandfather's sharp gray eyes narrowed, studying Victor like a CEO spotting fraud in quarterly reports. "The one I purchased and placed into your trust when you were born. Part of the Bennett family trust established with the proceeds from your father's estate. Surely the keys and title were transferred to you 3 years ago, along with the fund disbursements." My heart hammered against my ribs. "Grandfather, I don't have any penthouse. I live in a one-bedroom walk-up in Capitol Hill where the pipes rattle every time it rains." "What trust fund?" The air thickened. Victor cleared his throat smoothly. "There must be some clerical error with the attorneys, Theo. These things happen with complex estate planning." But grandfather was already pulling out his phone, texting rapidly. Within minutes, his longtime attorney, Marcus Hale, appeared at our table carrying a slim leather briefcase that looked far too official for a birthday dinner. Marcus spread documents across the white linen tablecloth, pushing aside half-eaten plates of filet mignon and roasted asparagus. Black and white proof stared back at me. Sophia Grace Bennett Trust, established on my first birthday, seated with $8 million from my father's wrongful death settlement after the trucking accident that took him when I was 4. Assets included the Eclipse Tower penthouse, current appraised value $4.1 million, and the principal had grown through conservative investments to nearly $13 million by maturity at age 25. I felt the room tilt. "This can't be right," I whispered, fingers tracing the maturity clause that mandated full transfer to me at 25. Mother wouldn't meet my gaze. Victor leaned back, crossing his arms. "Investments fluctuate, Sophia," he said with that oily calm I'd heard 1,000 times. "Markets are unpredictable. Your mother and I made choices we believed were in your long-term interest." Choices. My voice rose despite myself. Diners at nearby tables glanced over. But I couldn't stop. "Where is my money? Victor? Where is the penthouse?" He shrugged as if discussing a late utility bill. "Some ventures didn't pan out. That's business." The betrayal hit like a physical blow. I stood so fast my chair scraped loudly against the marble floor. "You stole from me. Both of you," Mother hissed. "Lower your voice. Sophia, you're embarrassing us." "Embarrassing you?" A bitter laugh escaped me. "You drained my entire future while I scraped by working 60-hour weeks at a graphic design studio, skipping meals to afford rent. And I'm the one embarrassing the family?" Grandfather rose, his presence commanding the space. We're leaving. Marcus. I want a complete forensic audit started tonight, every transaction traced. He fixed Victor with cold contempt. Enjoy your meal. Victor. It may be your last night of freedom. As security escorted us out into the drizzling Seattle night, I heard Victor mutter to Mother. The old man's lost it. He can't prove a thing. But the slight quiver in his voice betrayed him. Everything was about to unravel. The next morning, Grandfather's downtown offices transformed into a command center. Mahogany tables groaned under stacks of bank statements, property records, and glowing laptop screens. I hadn't slept, still wearing my birthday dress, now wrinkled from pacing. Marcus Hale adjusted his glasses. The trust was airtight, your mother named custodian with strict limits on withdrawals for education or health only. She clearly bypassed every safeguard. Forensic accountant Lena Vargas projected spreadsheets that made my stomach drop. The theft began small 6 years ago, $40,000 here. $60,000 there, disguised as tuition payments to universities I'd never attended or medical bills for procedures that never occurred. Then the sums ballooned. $750,000 funneled into shell companies like Cascade Ventures, Rainier Holdings, and Emerald Peak Capital. They didn't just take cash, Lena said grimly. Victor routed most through high-risk plays, crypto speculation on volatile altcoins that crashed 85% in months. Weekend binges at tribal casinos losing $250,000 at blackjack tables. Luxury toys. A 42-foot yacht docked at Lake Union. A Tesla Model S Plaid. Designer watches. Private jets to Aspen and Cabo. The penthouse? Illegally deeded to Victor 2 years ago under a fabricated loan repayment with a forged signature resembling mine but with telltale loops on S. He'd been renting it out for $9,500 monthly. Pocketing every dime while I took the bus in the rain. I felt nauseous. How much is left? Lena's face tightened. Roughly $1.4 million frozen in an offshore account we've located in the Caymans. They've burned through over $11.6 million plus lost compound growth. Grandfather's voice was steel. We'll seize everything, assets, properties, the yacht. This is embezzlement, fraud, forgery, federal territory. But Victor wouldn't go quietly. I knew that from years of his looming presence in our Cherry Creek home, using his 6 feet 4 inches frame to intimidate when I dared question household rules or his business trips. The real storm was coming. 3 days later, I returned to the family house in Madison Park to gather my grandmother's heirloom jewelry and old photo albums, anything truly mine before the lawyers froze accounts. I assumed Victor and Mother would be out maintaining their country club facade. I was wrong. Victor lounged on the custom leather sectional I'd always suspected was bought with my money. A glass of expensive bourbon in hand at 11 a.m. His eyes tracked me like a predator as I entered the living room. Well, if it isn't the little heiress come crawling back. I just came for my things, I said, keeping my tone even though my pulse raced. I'll be gone in 15 minutes. He laughed, low and ugly. Your things? Nothing here belongs to you. Sophia, you've been a guest in this house, living off our generosity for years. Generosity. The word exploded out. You mean my $13 million trust that you gambled away on crypto schemes and casino nights? The penthouse you've been renting out while I shared thin walls with noisy neighbors? Victor rose slowly, all 6 feet 4 inches of him towering over me. At 53, he was still powerfully built from weekend golf and whatever stress relief he claimed at the gym. He'd used that size against me since I was 15, standing too close during arguments, gripping my arm hard enough to bruise when I talked back. You have no idea what you're talking about, he growled, stepping into my space until bourbon breath washed over me. Those were strategic investments for your future. Markets crash. That's life. A yacht named after your ex is an investment? I shot back. Private jets to Monaco while I ate instant noodles? Spare me. His face flushed crimson. You ungrateful little. He grabbed my wrist hard as I tried to move past, yanking me closer. You've always been weak. Just like your father. At least he had the decency to die and leave something useful behind. The mention of Dad, killed by a distracted driver when I was 4, ignited something primal. Don't you dare speak about him. What are you going to do? Victor tightened his grip until pain shot up my arm. Run to Grandpa? That old fool doesn't scare me. I've handled bigger problems than you. Victor. You're hurting me. Good. Maybe you'll finally learn respect. Years of suppressed fear. Every shove. Every veiled threat. Every time Mother looked away, all crystallized in that instant. I twisted my wrist using a self-defense technique I'd secretly practiced after one too many incidents, breaking free. Victor's eyes widened in surprise. My place, I said quietly, voice steady despite the adrenaline, is as the rightful owner of the future you stole. The victim of years of fraud and intimidation. I pulled out my phone. Voice memo visibly recording since I'd entered the house. Every threat. Every bruise I've documented quietly for the past year. You're finished. Victor. Rage twisted his features. He lunged, shoving me hard against the wall. My shoulder slammed into a framed family photo, glass cracking as pain exploded through bone. I gasped. Victor. Mother's voice sliced through from the doorway, shopping bags dropping from her hands. She stared between us, face pale. Your daughter is trying to ruin us, he snarled, releasing me but staying too close. No, I said, straightening despite the throbbing. You ruined yourselves. I'm just exposing it. I held up the phone. This recording, plus the others I've kept, every incident, every threat. Assault on top of everything else. Mother's composure cracked. Sophia, please. We're family. We can fix this privately. Family doesn't steal from their own child. Family doesn't enable abuse. I moved toward the door, shoulder screaming. Grandfather's team filed an emergency injunction this morning on the penthouse. Tenants notified. The lease is void. Lawyer up. Victor. The crash of his bourbon glass shattering against the wall chased me out the door. I didn't look back. 13 years of walking on eggshells ended that afternoon. War had begun. Grandfather's penthouse became our war room. Laptops everywhere. Evidence boxes lining hallways. Then came the visitor who changed everything, a woman in her mid-30s. Sharp-eyed but exhausted, dressed in understated designer pieces that couldn't hide the toll. Sophia, Grandfather said, this is Natalie Lang, Victor's daughter from his first marriage. I nearly dropped my coffee. Victor has a daughter? Had. Natalie corrected bitterly. He disowned me 5 years ago when I wouldn't sink my college fund into his sure-thing investments. She opened a folder. He did to my mother exactly what he's doing to yours. Remortgaged the house multiple times. Drained accounts. Forged signatures. She died of a stress-induced heart attack at 52. The parallels chilled me. Natalie played an old recording. Victor's younger voice threatening her mother over medication he'd secretly tampered with. Gaslighting her into dependency. Pattern confirmed, multiple women targeted for their assets. Love-bombed, then systematically destroyed. We've located 2 more ex-partners willing to testify, Marcus said. One lost her business. Another her retirement. Victor preys on women with inheritances or wealthy families. This wasn't just my fight anymore. Victor's defense attorney was Preston Caldwell. Seattle's shark known for getting high-profile clients off serious charges. Expensive. Ruthless. The private investigator Grandfather hired reported Victor liquidating assets fast, selling the yacht at a loss, draining accounts, even visiting a cash-paid storage unit in Renton multiple times. He's preparing to flee or fight dirty, the investigator warned. We secured a passport flag and warrant for the storage unit, which revealed boxes of practice forgeries, deleted laptop files recovering gambling logs, and desperate debt records. Victor escalated. Texts from burner numbers. Back off or things get ugly. I forwarded everyone to Marcus. Mother sent pleading messages. Come home. Emmy. I can make him return it, using my childhood nickname for the first time in years. But I knew better. The preliminary hearing at the federal courthouse downtown felt surreal. 6 weeks of sleepless nights preparing led here. Victor entered with Caldwell, both in sharp suits. But I spotted the cracks, weight loss, haunted eyes, trembling hands. Our gazes met. His smirk faltered when he saw my steady calm. Assistant U.S. Attorney Rachel Kim laid out charges: wire fraud, money laundering, embezzlement, identity theft, each carrying heavy federal time. Caldwell painted it as family investment disputes and poor market timing. Then the audio evidence dropped. Natalie's recording played first, Victor's threats, admission of controlling medication. My confrontation recording followed. The shove and crash audible. The courtroom tensed. Pattern established through witness statements from other victims. I testified next. Walking to the stand, heels echoing. I felt every eye. Rachel asked when I learned of the trust. 6 weeks ago, at my birthday dinner. I discovered the penthouse and millions I'd never seen while living paycheck to paycheck. Cross-examination from Caldwell was vicious. You're just angry at your stepfather. Aren't you? Angry enough to fabricate claims? No, I answered steadily. Angry enough to finally tell the truth after years of fear. His attempt to portray me as vindictive failed when the storage unit evidence emerged: practice signatures, gambling debts. Judge Elena Morales found probable cause on all counts. Victor was detained without bail as a flight risk. Handcuffs clicked. As marshals led him away, he spat. You've destroyed your mother for money. I'm not destroying anyone, I replied. I'm reclaiming what you took and freeing us both. Mother approached afterward, eyes red. I never wanted this, but grandfather stepped in. You chose every day. Elena. The trial lasted 2 grueling weeks. Victor sat in orange jumpsuit, gaunt and stripped of swagger. Prosecution built brick by brick: bank trails, forged deeds, crypto transaction logs showing reckless losses, luxury receipts. Caldwell chipped at edges, but cracks widened. Then Lena discovered the letter in Mother's safety deposit box, written 3 years earlier but never sent. Dad. It began in Mother's handwriting. I'm ashamed to say this aloud. Victor controls everything now. He made me sign trust documents I didn't fully understand. When I resisted, he reminded me of that night in Leavenworth, the accident, the pills he gave me, the man who supposedly died. He claims he is proof that could ruin me. He's stealing from Sophia. I see the bruises, but stay silent. I'm a coward trapped by fear. The courtroom gasped as Rachel read it aloud. Mother sobbed from the gallery. Caldwell objected furiously, hearsay, but Judge Morales noted Mother was present and willing to testify. On the stand, Mother broke completely. He drugged me that night. I don't remember driving. He showed fake photos, altered reports claiming I killed someone in a hit-and run. Said he'd fixed it but owned me forever. Every time I tried to protect Sophia or question withdrawals, he'd threaten exposure. I thought staying kept her safer. I was wrong. Cross-examination exposed the lie. Real police reports confirmed no fatality, just a minor unreported fender bender Victor fabricated entirely for leverage. Gaslighting perfected over years. Victor erupted. She's lying to save herself. Officers restrained him. The jury saw the monster unmasked. Closing arguments hammered home, not mere theft, but predatory manipulation destroying lives. Jury deliberated 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Victor stared at me with pure hatred as convictions read: wire fraud, laundering, embezzlement, identity theft, extortion. Sentencing brought closure and new beginnings. The courtroom packed with journalists, advocates, and Victor's other victims, Ava, Patricia, Linda, Jennifer, standing in solidarity. Victim impact statements poured out. I spoke first, voice clear. You stole my safety, trust, and future. For 13 years you made me feel worthless. But I survived. We all did. Your power ends here. Natalie followed. You broke my mother until her heart gave out. Remember her every day in prison. Others added layers, lost businesses, drained retirements, shattered families. Mother spoke last. I failed my daughter by choosing fear over protection. But she's stronger. She stopped you. Judge Morales delivered maximum: 8 years wire fraud, 5 laundering, 7 embezzlement, 3 identity theft, 5 extortion, totaling 15 years federal prison after partial concurrency. Full restitution exceeding $15.3 million. Permanent fiduciary ban. 5 years supervised release. As marshals led Victor away, victims stood silently watching him go. Fear finally filled his eyes. Outside, reporters swarmed, but we slipped away. 6 months later, the Phoenix Rising Fund launched at Seattle's community center. My vision turned reality with grandfathers matching funds and donations from survivors. We provide legal aid, financial counseling, safety planning for financial abuse victims. Ava became co-director, honoring her mother's memory. Mother and I rebuild slowly. She left the house, started therapy and a part-time job. Trust scars remain, but we share coffee, talk cautiously. Your father would be proud, she says sometimes. One evening in my reclaimed penthouse, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Space Needle and mountains, I hosted allies, Ava's family, Lena, Marcus, even Rachel Kim. News arrived, Victor's appeal denied. He'll serve every day. A letter from prison arrived later, still no remorse. Blaming everyone else. I burned it. His story no longer defines mine. The fund has helped dozens recover millions, educated thousands, supported prosecutions. Strength born from pain now lifts others. Standing at those windows, mountains eternal witness to betrayal and triumph, I no longer count his years. I build mine. Mark Williams thought he destroyed me. Instead, he forged a survivor who refuses silence. My name is Sophia Bennett. I'm no longer his victim. I'm the voice for every woman reclaiming her power. Victory isn't just his cell, it's the lives we save, the futures we rebuild, the sisterhood that endures.